Pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. My humblest apologies for being MIA for so long. Had a lot going on. All right, so um, art history. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is go through the topics that we would have had, the topics for art history so far, and then we're going to try to go into the topics. Now, I realized when I was doing this, it could be a bit lengthy. So these videos will come in parts. Now, just before I get straight into the various topics and so on, right? I want to touch down on assessments. Um, so for our art history, the very first assessment, which you've already covered, was like in week 2 or week 3. I believe, right, majority of you had completed that. The second, I guess, assessment would have come week 4, week 5, right? That was the quiz where the majority of you kind of touched on 100% there. And then there's another assessment. The dates that that assessment was open to you was last week, Friday. They're saying they want a group assessment. My suggestion for that particular one, and you let me know, right? You can do it individually, or you can do just as they suggested or requested for you guys to act as a group, one big old group. You put together the assessment, you put all your names and all that kind of stuff on this one document. Miss Michael will grade it, right? Because it's a group. Just let me know beforehand if it hasn't been done already, because I do recall putting in 2 sets of scores for you already. Assessment 1, and then there's the quiz, if you want to call that assessment 2. But grade number 2, right? At the end of this course, which is supposed to be in the final week, there is, your final quiz. All right, great. Thank you so much for that. So topics really quickly. Week number 1 would have been introduction to art history. Yes, I'm looking down because my book is down there. Kind of just got home, like I mentioned, right? Art history, followed by week 2 and 3 is prehistoric art, followed by week 4 to 5, Egyptian art. Week 6 to 8 is Greek and Roman art, and then we got early Christian art and the Byzantine art. Week 9 to 10, where we are right now. Week 11 to 13 is Gothic art and Romanesque art. Forgive my pronunciation if I'm butchering that. The 14th week is supposed to be summary and revision and all that good jazz, followed by the final week, final exams. Yay! Where you get your 100%. Okay, so you can call it a recap, because I know we would have touched on it a bit, but not too much. Don't want these videos to be too long either. Week 1, introduction to art history. We would have been looking at a definition of art history along with the importance of art history, right? So history can be summarized as the collection or examination of changes throughout time, basically encompassing all areas of human society, and that is every single thing. Okay, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of politics and religion and spirituality, everything, every single thing. Okay, history of the world can also be referred to as a collective memory of past experiences, right? Where it is globally preserved through, they had just written records, but remember, this is visual arts. So technically, it's not just written, but also visual. We can get a lot of information from one of them old days, as we will eventually do, right? We would have gotten a lot of information from sculptures, from the caves. Remember, at that point in time, I wasn't writing anything. I was going hunting, painting on cave walls just before I did my hunt. All right. The ceremonies and life in general, it was in the form of art, even though it wasn't called that at the very time. Okay, now moving on to, this is supposed to be prehistoric. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video at about 5 minutes because I think that should be enough time. Pre basically means before prehistoric time, in this case, right? Before prehistoric time, where we began recording our experiences. Again, this was not written. Okay, this would have been long before pen and paper and typing and so on. So based on what I've got written here, long before history was recorded, humans were living and doing things such as carving various objects, painting, creating shelters, and various structures. That's the architecture. All right, so we over the 5 minutes and I've changed my mind. I'm going to get this information out to you. And when it's done, we're going to do another video. Yes, I'll be sending the videos all day. Any questions, concerns, comments, as always, they are welcome. Okay? Especially since I owe you already. They are more than welcome. All right. So you're gonna send your questions in the WhatsApp because comments might be off. There's no need to go there. Good. Moving on. Art captures fragments of history. Right. Art captures fragments of history that would have been based on the creator of a specific era. Right. Art is therefore breadcrumbs or clues to what may have transpired. Because as time goes by, just like erosion and all that other good jazz, a lot of things we tend to lose. Whether we literally write them down or not, history tends to be erased. Whether, you know, I think I'm better than you, and what you bring, they make sense. So I can burn you and your people in the hall in hopefully you get what I'm getting at, right? Persons removed each other's culture and each other's history because you do me wrong, you do me bad, blah, 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 that kind of crap. That kind of thing, because it's a part of our history, it's a thing that occurred. We let our emotions take control and, you know, we damage, we destroy, we erase important things. Now, thank heavens for art. Some of it was still preserved, right? Anyway, so let me read what I got here. Art captures fragments of history based on the people of that specific era. Art is therefore a clue that not only historians but also anthropologists and archaeologists can gain insight from. Well, not just them people alone, but you too, right? You will be gaining insight from it. No, you might be stopping and thinking, oh, yes, this bottle tells me XYZ 1, 2, 3, but you get the point. You're going to be learning a couple of things here too. Good. Subtopic now. Quick question. Why study history? Why study prehistory? Okay. Other than the fact that, and I kind of actually do want you to answer this question. You can answer it in the WhatsApp. You can answer it in the YouTube because I don't have time to one, edit the video, nor two, turn on comments. Don't feel like being, butchered. Good. Now, other than the fact that, okay, art history is a subject, a course that has to be done, it's compulsory at the ER Burroughs level art school here in Guyana. Other than the fact that it's also compulsory for visual art teachers to complete at CPCE or at the university when you're doing your bachelor's. Outside of all of that, why are you studying art history? Why are you studying history? Why are you studying prehistory? Why are you here? What's the deal here? What are you doing here? All right. Me injecting myself into it for just a 2 seconds. Art history would give students an idea of where we've come from. History in general does that, but art, on the other hand, it kind of gives your raw talent a boost, a needed boost, by the way, a boost that also boosts your finances. Just hear me out for a second or two, strain a little bit as usual. So your raw talent, you're doing stuff, you've got your customers and they're paying you, and really and truly you might be just be doing this for the bread and butter as opposed to the love of art. But if you get to understand the journey your ancient artists would have taken, how you're doing, what you're doing, why you're doing, where it came from, you therefore have the opportunity to add more value to yourself as an artist, to your art as a language. Because let's be honest, once again, what we're doing is communicating without opening our mouths. We're communicating with our creations. Agree? Disagree? Let me know what you think about that, right? So yeah, Art history gives you an idea of where we've come from, what we would have, our experiences basically. It helps us to understand where we're going with our art. Okay? Injecting once again. So there was a point in time in history, I'm sure you know this, where women were not allowed, women were not permitted to do art. Yes, we are the rebels, right? So now, as a female artist slash teacher slash lecturer and all the other slashes that come under me, right? I feel privileged. I feel proud. I feel happy. A little ridiculous that I don't do it as often as I should, but besides the point, it's an amazing time to be an artist. Yeah. People are actually moving away from that whole starving artist kind of thing, especially here in Guyana. Oh, art and importance and blah, 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 blah. Okay? But yeah, back to my book. We study art history to understand ourselves better, right? What else I want to tell you? We also study art history to avoid exclusion of cultures. As you know, this is a multicolored cultured society, and we got a lot of rich culture and history and events and journeys. If only we would take a little time to stop and relax and smell the roses, right? We do have a lot to bring to the picture. All right, so opening quotation marks right about now because these are somebody else's words. Historians in the West have been criticized for focusing disproportionately on Western world. Close quotations. Now, these are one of the guys, the big guns, the bullies, that would have been only focusing and only bringing certain things to light while trying to hide other things, right? Whereby, personally, I believe we would all have benefited way faster, way more if we were doing it. Yeah, it's a lot of work. We're going to be honest with you, it's a lot of work, but focusing on everybody, okay? Some of the places that they were trying to exclude from the light would have been sub-Sahara, places in Africa. Let's just sum it up to that. Places in Africa, because for me to call all of that now. Moving on in my book a bit further. History's primary purpose is to stand at the center of existence. Because you're not the first and you ain't gonna be the last ones to come here and learn things and do things and grow. There were persons here before you. And it helps greatly when you're able to look back a little bit just to know where you're going, how you're moving forward. You don't want to be repeating the same mistakes. You don't need to be repeating mistakes and so on, right? Especially if Uncle Johnny do it already, hey, this is what happened, and he lost his fingers, he lost his toes. So I will learn how to keep my fingers and keep my toes and keep that dollar in my pocket too, while being amazing at the same time. Right? History can be powerful. It can be a powerful tool. However, it should never be a weapon of destruction. All right? Divided we stand. Am I saying it correctly? United we stand, divided we fall. Okay? All right. Next little subtopic thing. What is art history? So back to my book again. The study of art pieces. The study of art pieces within their time period. So you'll hear time period a lot because, of course, there were various times that things were done. Okay? Art historians analyze visual arts meaning at the time they were created. Okay? Every era got a different name to it, got different characteristics to it. And you, as an art student, is required for us to be able to understand it. I'm not going to interject anything there. Okay? The second aim of art history, according to the information I was gathering, is to establish a authorial, authorial. For some reason, I feel I cannot pronounce the word properly. So in case I butchered it, authorial. Second aim of art history is to establish authorial origins of artworks. That simply means putting it in books, bringing it to, back in the day when Johnny was painting the cave walls about his experiences, he wasn't putting nothing down in a book. It took some time. And so the whole purpose, one of the main purposes, again, because I'm only giving you two purposes for the art history, is so that we could kind of put it in a book, right? Put it in an article. We could read about it. All right. Miss Michael did a particular painting, a particular thing, whatever, whatever. And so we could read about it now, not just go to her exhibitions and so on, but we could read about it. Let me know if this is making some sense to you. Let me know if yeah, if this is making some sense to you, if you kind of relate, questions, concerns, comments, regular thing. All right, moving on now. What I got here now? Yeah, so let's rewind and come again. So the study of art pieces within the time period. Art historians analyze visual arts, meaning at the time they were created. The second aim of the art history is to establish authorial origins of artworks. This is basically discovering the creator or the artist, right? Who was the maker of such and such a piece, when it was created, the function of the art piece. As you know, some things are purely decorative while other things might be functional. Others can be both. What else I got here for you? A way to learn about the civilizations of the past, right? Art history educates, informs. Inform is a better word. So again, literally that's what I have here. Again, why study art history? Two main reasons here, again, because we would have already been down that line. To understand cultures, to understand yourself, develop critical thinking. Okay. And when we were done with all of that, there was a video that I hope and pray to God I did share with you already. The name of that video is Introduction to Art History. This video is found on YouTube, and the creators are Art History 101. The video is about 32 to 41 long. This video was done the 3rd of May 2021, right? Early stages of COVID-19 or something like that. Anyway, within this video, some of the little topics and so forth. Of course, there's an introduction. He talks about what is art history. He goes into art history questions. What is style, regional style, subject, attribution. Don't think I'm saying that properly, but all right. Patron, interdisciplinary, bias, contextual style. And so I'm going to end this video here. And the next one that I send to you should help me discuss that video just a wee bit more. All right. Beforehand, any questions, any concerns, any comments, feel free to send. Thank you. See you in a bit.